Okay, welcome to today's lecture. It's about setting goals. We're gonna get right straight into it. The problem we face when we set goals, the root cause of the problem, the reward prediction error, which is something that happens in your brain. Perspective change. I'm gonna change your perspective. The Wu Wei idea is something in the Chinese Taoism culture. Stoic reserve clause, some Stoic idea for you to know. And Dharma. This is something from the Eastern countries that I want to explain to you as well. All of these will help you shift your perspective about how to set goal and actually achieve them. Because how many times you set yourself a massive goal and you end up stop doing it because you lost motivation, the initial dopamine hit faded away, and now you're back to your starting point and the goal is forgotten. You're back to your old life, you don't like it. The Whoop framework, another concept I want to share with you, action steps for you to know how to do it, common mistakes to avoid, and final message and takeaway. Let's start the problem description and common misbeliefs people have. So, have you ever set a massive goal like a New Year resolution to get fit or start a business, felt a massive rush of inspiration, and then a month later found yourself back on the couch? You're not lazy, you're falling into the intention behavior gap. Pay attention to this concept. When you set a goal, your brain lights up. So dreaming up that goal releases a hit of dopamine, giving you that initial burst of motivation. But after a while, a couple hours or days or even months, you find yourself turning back to your old comfortable habits. And before you know it, you are right back to your baseline. And the goal is forgotten. So the modern culture tries to fix this with two massive destructive misbeliefs. Number one is hustle culture, the idea that you need to force it, but neurologically, setting an impossibly massive goal triggers the brain's fear center, the amygdala. You flood your system with stress hormones, paralyzing your planning abilities. So setting a massively big goal that you know is unattainable is not the way to go. Second mistake is toxic positivity or free fantasy. The idea that you just need to visualize the end result, the law of attraction, the manifestation. It works, but not how you think it does. Science shows that if you only imagine the finish line, your brain actually thinks you've already achieved it. It drops your dopamine levels, destroying your drive to actually do the work. So, this is not the way to go either. What's the root cause then? Why do we stay paralyzed? It comes down to a fundamental misunderstanding of our brain's mechanics and the natural laws of reality. We're going to have a mix of both the modern science and the laws of nature, the ancient laws, the ancient philosophies. When you understand both, you're going to have a better idea how your brain functions and how the law of the universe function, and then you can hopefully achieve your goals. Number one is your brain operates on reward prediction error. Okay, RPE, reward prediction error. As an example, think of your motivation like a vending machine. If you put a coin expecting a soda and get one, you're satisfied. If you get three, your brain spikes with dopamine. You're thrilled and motivated to keep playing. But if you put in a coin and get nothing, your dopamine crashes and you walk away. When you set unrealistic expectations, listen, when you set unrealistic expectations and reality hits you with friction, so you don't achieve your goal because it's too big, your brain registers a negative RPE, negative reward prediction error. Your motivation crashes and you quit. So, this is the problem with setting huge goals that you know they are unrealistic. That doesn't mean you shouldn't dream. What does that mean? We're going to get to that. Number two, you're fighting your reticular activating system. Example, your reticular activating system is the ultimate VIP bouncer at the door of your conscious mind. So what it does, what it actually is, this is the function of your brain that filters millions of bits of data, only letting in what your subconscious believes is important. If you consciously say, I want to be rich, but subconsciously believe I'm a failure, the bouncer will block out all the opportunities for wealth and only let in evidence that proves you are failing. So you can't really lie your way into success or achieving a goal that you know is not realistic. Third mistake, we ignore the hermetic principles of rhythm. Ancient philosophy teaches us that everything in the universe swings like a pendulum. There are tides of expansion and contraction. Modern goal setters expect a straight upward line of success. When the pendulum naturally swings back, I'm going to explain what does that mean. When they hit a plateau or feel tired, they panic. They have failed, think they have failed, and quit instead of using that time to rest and recover. So this goes back to the law of nature, that is law of opposites, or law of polarity, which means to every dark side there is a bright side, to every upside there is a downside. There is the day, there is the night, there is success, there is failure, there is up, there is down. So in anything in life, you have to expect both to come to you. You cannot think that you're just gonna have a smooth sail upward towards your destination without any setback. Okay, radical perspective shift. To bridge the gap, we must combine neuroscience with ancient philosophy to fundamentally shift how we operate. First concept, from forcing things to woo wee. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but regardless, effortless action. So, this is a Chinese concept that basically means non intervention. Do not intervene, let things happen in that sense. Stop thrashing against the water. A drowning swimmer fights the current. A master surfer uses it. In Taoism, Wu Wei means effortless action. And the psychological flow state is the psychological flow state. You achieve it by practicing skills until they become automatic, allowing your autopilot to take over without the anxious interference of your ego. This kind of goes along with the second one, that is the Stoic reserve clause. You must detach from the outcome. The ancient Stoics approached goals with a reserve clause, meaning fate permitting. It's the state of allowance. They let things come to them. And as an example, think of a master archer. They control their training, the bow, and their breathing. But the second the arrow leaves the bow, a gust of wind could blow it off course. Base your self-worth on the perfection of your effort, which you control, not the target, which you don't. This protects your brain from the dopamine crash of failure. You have to be in a state of allowance. You cannot keep intervening with the universe. If you plant a seed of something you want, you cannot dig it up every day and expect it to grow. You have to let things happen in the universe. It's made in a perfectly orderly manner. And if you keep intervening and worrying about how, and when I say intervening, it's not just about actions, it's about your thoughts as well. It's worrying about how it's going to happen. What should I do next? But rushing things. How is it possible? And all these questions, you keep intervening with it. You keep forcing things. You keep worrying about it. This is not faith. This is telling the universe, I don't have any of it. And I'm so desperate to get it. You have to allow things to happen. Let things come to you. And once they come, good or bad, you deal with them accordingly. You respond with a proper action that is aligned with the version you want to become. Third principle is Himma and Dharma. So Himma is something in the Sufis mysticism, and Dharma is a word from the East. I'm gonna tell you what they mean. Your goal must align with your true cosmic duty or Dharma. So Dharma in the Eastern culture means the path of rightness, the life of rightness, the of virtue. When you per- when you pursue a goal aligned with your soul, you unlock what the Sufis call himma. An indomitable spiritual resolve is the story of the moth and the flame. The first moth looks at the fire, the second singes its wings, but the third flies directly into the center and becomes the fire. True resolve requires total immersion. Let's talk about a strategy to help you set and achieve these goals. It's a very known one called the WOOP framework. What does it mean? To turn these philosophies into reality, we use a scientifically validated framework called WOOP, Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, Plan. How to use it? Wish, the W of WOOP stands for wish. Set a goal that aligns with your true purpose. This gives your reticular activating system, the bouncer, the analogy we talked about earlier, a clear target to look for. So the wish or what you want to achieve has to become something that is precise. You cannot be vague about it, because if it's vague, the reticular activating system is gonna have vague vision to look for, and thus it's not gonna filter the right things and the right bits of information to enter your brain and to help you see what you want to achieve. So it has to be precise. The O in WOOP stands for outcome. Vividly feel the success in the present moment. This gives you that initial dopamine spike to get off the couch. So you have to start to believe that you can do the thing that you set your mind to do. And how do you do that? By visualizing. Yes, visualizing. Earlier I said visualizing is not enough, but all of this is gonna make sense when I finish it. Visualize it and feel the success. Don't just consciously have the idea in your brain, but you have to feel the successful event of you achieving it, of you doing it, of you overcoming setbacks. And feel it in all with all your senses. You close your eyes and you actually immerse yourself in that experience of being that person that you want to become. O in Whoop stands, the second O stands for obstacle. So here it comes. Here's the magic. Don't just think positive. So don't just visualize and live in a dream world. Look directly at the internal obstacles that will stop you. What are your bad habits, your fears? This creates a psychological tension that alerts your brain that real work is required. So the only thing that is stopping you from what you want is actually yourself. Nothing from the outside can affect it. Literally nothing. Everything is within you, and the obstacles are within you. It's not your friend who didn't believe in you. It's not your parents' fault. It's not the fact that you are in an uncomfortable situation or whatever. No, it's the internal blocks, and you have to become aware of them. So even if you visualize yourself being the person you want to become, if you're not aware of the things that are stopping you from doing it, you're gonna keep living on a dreamland and never doing the work that's required. And the work is correcting yourself. When you correct yourself to align with the future version of yourself that you want to become, that's how you start to getting closer to what you want, because you're purifying, in a sense, purifying yourself to align with that version. And B is plan. This is important. Create an if then implementation intention. If obstacle happens, then I will take this specific action. A study in the British Journal of Health Psychology found that simply writing down an if then plan increased follow through on exercise goals from 38% to 91%. It pre-programs your autopilot so you don't have to think when friction hits. I hope this made sense, because when you are going to attain something, inevitably the world is going to give you friction. So it's going to give you obstacles, adversities, challenges that you have to overcome. So what this is suggesting is after you wish for something that is precise, after you feel the outcome of it and start to give yourself these feelings of being able to achieve it, and that you actually can achieve it by waking up your sensory factors and starting to work on your inner obstacles that are preventing you from moving forward. The fourth thing is predict the fact that inevitably bad things are going to happen in your way to success. Success is not a straight, smooth sailing. It's you have to pave your way and go through some pitfalls. And this is actually the obstacles we were talking about in the second O of FOOP. So by expecting them to come, when they come, you don't get discouraged. You already know that challenges are going to come into your life before you level up. The prerequisite to leveling up is actual challenges and adversities. So when you expect them to come, you're not surprised. You don't have that dopamine depletion that happens when you face friction. So you expect them to come, and then now you deal with them and keep moving forward. Very important. Practical actions. How do we apply this daily? We have four things that we want to talk about today. Number one, multi-sensory visualization. Don't just make a vision board. It goes back to the second O, to the first O in the Whoop framework. Don't just make a vision board. Close your eyes and feel the grit, the sweat, and the effort of overcoming the obstacle. This physically rewires your brain to spot hidden opportunity. So your reticular activating system starts to filter out the information that we need to achieve that goal, because we are constantly thinking about it, visualizing it. So now we start to see things outside in the outside world that align with this vision. And now we see this opportunity comes. Whereas 2 months ago, when we were in a dark place and only focusing on the negative things, we would have missed it. So this is how it started to happen. And people start to think things start to come to me. Yeah, they start to come to you, but that's because you see them, because they are everywhere. You were just blocking your vision from seeing them. Number two, microdopamine pathways. Break your massive goals down to an almost embarrassingly small size. Use the two push-up rule. By achieving tiny wins every day, you guarantee a daily dopamine hit, keeping the motivation engine running. So, as we said earlier, if you fix yourself huge goals, you know they are not realistic for the foreseeable future, you're gonna end up disappointed. So this is why you have to dream big, but also you have to break your goal down to daily steps, and you reward yourself, you recognize yourself for doing these little actions every day and achieving them. This way you get small wins, small bits of wins daily that ultimately will compound, and the compounding effect will eventually lead you to the ultimate goal. But it has to be in a small little goals on a daily basis while keeping the big end vision in your brain. But this is going to keep you grounded on daily actions. Number three, balance, structure, and flow. You need masculine energy, rigid time blocks, discipline, logic, and feminine energy, intuition, creativity, adaptability. If you are all structure, you burn out. If you are all flow, you achieve nothing. Balance the two. What does that mean? That doesn't mean you go get a girlfriend, or if you're a girl, you go get a boyfriend. No. It means within every one of us, there are two energies, the masculine one and the feminine one. The masculine one is more responsible for rigid time blocks, discipline, logic, action taking, and the feminine one is more intuition, creativity, adaptability, imagination. So you have to balance both. The problem is if you are just hardcore doing, you're gonna burn out, and maybe you don't have the emotional basis to support that. And if you're just feminine energy, which means you're dreaming and imagining and feeling the emotions and living your best life, you will go into fantasy land and basically not taking action, therefore not getting what you want. So you have to have a mix of both. Yes, work hard, but also, yes, emotionalize and visualize what you want. A mix of both. You don't have to be any of the extremes. So it's neither hustle culture, nor it is just spirituality and manifestation and no action taken. A balance. Number four, practice the reserve clause is the Stoic principle we talked about earlier. Every morning, state your intentions, promise your best effort, and then vocally surrender the outcome to the universe. In a state of allowance, when you wake up, you know that some things are out of your control, but what is in your control is who you are and your emotions and your intentions of the day. You set them out straight. Today, I'm aligning with that version. I'm not operating from the old man. I'm not operating from fear. I'm operating from faith. That's what's going to happen today. Today, my action steps, my little action steps for my ultimate goal are going to be achieved. We are not going to waste time. This is who I am today. And you then go ahead and set yourself up for a successful day. What are the common mistakes people make? Even with this framework, beware of these traps. Number one, resisting the pendulum. When your energy dips, do not force it. Rest. Understand that contraction is just the universe winding up for your next expansion. Don't mistake this for laziness. It's actually what I want you to understand is when something bad happens, I don't want you to start to talk like shit to yourself. Don't start to beat yourself down for not achieving that because it was something out of your control, or even if you were lazy that day and things just didn't work out the way you want them. There's actually a lesson from that. Don't start to talk to yourself like shit. This is what that means. So when the inevitable reality of life happen and you get friction, do not quit. Do not turn against yourself. Support yourself in this moment and understand that these are waves. The ups and the downs are waves. From the ups, we enjoy the success and the happiness and the joy and the achievements that comes with it. And from the downs, we can learn and correct ourselves and improve ourselves for next challenges. So that's all it is. There is nothing that is ultimately bad or ultimately good. It's just the flow of life. Number two, treating the obstacles as the enemy. When things, I just kind of talked about that. When things get hard, it isn't a sign to quit. The obstacle is the exact neurological friction your brain needs to grow new pathways. The obstacle isn't blocking the path, it is the path. As I said earlier, obstacles are required for your elevation and for your success and your development and to get you closer to your goal. So stop seeing obstacles as the world is against me. God doesn't want me to get that. I'm not good enough. No, no. You are good enough. You are born perfect. You are just misunderstanding the whole idea of having a obstacle in one's life. The whole principle is for you to elevate, to use that obstacle for your advantage, extract the lessons and get through it, overcome it. The only way is through obstacles, is not around it. Because otherwise you already know how to do everything and you have everything you want. But there is no joy in that. So use obstacles to your advantage. Enjoy it when obstacles come. That's your sign to grow. Third mistake is knowledge hoarding. You can watch 100 videos on neuroscience and philosophy, like the one you're watching right now. But intention without implementation is an illusion. You have to take physical action. And I like this little photo that I inserted here, internal student. So you can study hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours on YouTube about how to achieve a goal or how to do anything for that matter that you want to do. You can read thousands of books. You can listen to hundreds of podcasts. There is nothing more common than a talented person who is a fool, who makes a fool out of himself. He knows a lot of things, but he never take actions on them, and he stays the same. So he becomes an eternal student, but never an action taker. Learn, yes, but you're never gonna feel ready. When I started YouTube, I never felt ready to talk to the camera, but I kept on doing it. I kept on doing it. I kept on learning how to speak to people. I kept on improving my English, etc., etc. When I started the gym, same thing. I was skinny. I did not know what to do. But then I kept training. Eventually, I became a personal trainer and I started teaching people that. So you're never gonna feel ready, and you can learn as much as you want. But if you don't put things into actions, your brain are just gonna stock these informations without ever using them. So they're basically useless. To know and not to do is not to know. Take actions on them, even if you don't feel ready, even if the action is imperfect. That's the first step. My final message to you is the ultimate pursuit of a goal is never actually about the money, the physique, or the status. Those are just lagging indications. These are a byproduct of who you are, of who you become. Setting a monumental goal and achieving it despite the resistance of the world is the highest form of conscious evolution. You are taking abstract spiritual potential and literally forging new neurological pathways in your brain. When you align the hard science of the brain with the mystical laws of the universe, you cease to be a victim of circumstances. You become the architect of your own reality, moving with effortless grace, driven by unshakable resolve, and manifesting your ultimate potential. I hope this made sense. Apply it, use it. Next video is going to be about a different topic. Previous video was about confidence. So if you want to improve your confidence, you might want to check that out. I will come at you every other day with new videos about self-development, and I wish you just apply them and get better because you can. You really can do anything you want. Don't let anything outside of you tell you you cannot. It's just a bunch of bullshit, a bunch of systems and old programs that you don't need anymore. Okay, believe in yourself, do it, and I hope this helps. Sub to the channel if you want more self-development content, and I will see you tomorrow.